We now do the third one in the same series. You see, density is at the volume level, planar density is at the plane level. So obviously if it is continuing, then linear density in a line, at a line level. So linear atomic density, the symbol is still rho, L for linear. Number of atomic diameters intersected by the line upon the length of the line. Right? The idea is very similar and the same. That volume density is okay, the mass of the here, and planar density is for a plane here, length of the line. Select a length, whichever line you want. It is in the right phase, bottom phase, top phase line, and how many atomic diameters are intersected by the line. Right? So volume density, planar density, linear density. Now I am very sure that if I was in the class, then at least some of you, some of you would say that, doctor, why are we doing this? I always encourage you to ask that question. Why? What it is, yes, this is it. Linear density is defined like this. So what is this? But why? Why are we doing it? Volume, I can understand volume density, because we want to find the density at the crystal level and we want to compare it with the real density and then see if our theory was right. But what is this planar density and linear density? So you see, the answer goes back to the same question, that why are we doing crystal theory at all? We want to try to understand the properties of the material. We want to understand the properties of the material, the tensile test and the hardness and all those properties. We want to understand why are they there. Why in iron the values are this, why in aluminum the values are this. So when we try to go and understand that, then we go down, we go to the crystal level, and then we see, oh, aluminium has crystals like this, and titanium has crystals like this, and iron has crystals like this. So therefore the density of this material is like this, and so on. But the properties are always a stress and strain, and stress means you want to find forces in a certain direction and you want to find areas, isn't it? So if I am applying force on a material, but now at the crystal level, so in some direction there will be more atoms to resist the force, in some other direction there will be less atoms to resist the force. So what is the density of this plane and what is the density of this line? This will become very important in the stress, strain and forces consideration at the unit cell crystal level, right? So everything that we do, I keep on telling you that, you see, I personally have, we are not science people, right? We are engineering people. We are engineers. We want to understand all that science very critically, very clearly, which will affect our engineering decisions. We don't want to do any other science. The scientists will do that. But that science which is important as an engineer to me, that I want to look at. So here, right, if I want to understand the forces and the stresses and the strains at the crystal level, then the density on a plane and the density in a line are important. Okay, so now back here. Find the linear atomic density of FCC copper in the 110 direction. Find the linear atomic density of FCC copper. So you know that excuse me, that copper is FCC, but now it is the 110 direction. 110 direction. Remember, if there was a comma here and it was a parenthesis, it will be a point. If it was 110 like this but it was a parenthesis, it will be the Miller indices. But if it is 110 without comma and there are brackets, the rectangular ones, then it is a direction. So 110 direction and linear atomic density of FCC. So what you have to do very simply is again draw the cube, draw the 110 direction, and then see that in this direction how many atoms are intersected. So you count the atoms, right, diameters, right, each remember, when an atom is the full volume, it is a sphere. When we take it on a plane, one atom means one circle. When we take it on a line, one diameter means one atom, right? When we take it on a line, one diameter means one atom. So find the number of diameters that are there on this line and find the length of this line. Find the length of this line, and that is it. The length of the line you will find for a, root 2a, whatever, and so on. So please do it. Please do it. Take a piece of paper, pause my lecture, and once you are very sure, then go ahead. So this is it. We draw the cube. You draw the cube, and it is 1, 1, 0, right? So go 1 in x, go 1 in y, and 0 in z. This is your point. This is your point. So from the origin to this point is the line, right? This is the 1, 1, 0 direction. 1, 1, 0 direction, right? 1 in x, 1 in y, stop. This is your point. From 0 origin to here, you draw the line. So this is the 1, 1, 0 direction. Now you have to find two things. What is the length of this line? So if this is a and this is a, the length of the line is root 2a, right? And it is FCC, FCC. So if this bottom face is there, then this line is cutting this atom and the center atom, right? Every face has a center atom and the corner atom. So this line, so this is one radius, this is the other radius. So this is one diameter and this is one diameter. So two diameters are being intersected on this plane, right? So your very quick drawing of the cube and the plane and the line is very critical. If that practice is bad, I don't know, that practice, if you have done the previous lecture and revised it, we have done this 20 times, 15 times, 20 times, that draw the line, draw this in the cube. But if you have not done it, then you need to do it. So this is it, right? That how many atom diameters are here on this line? One radius, and one radius is two diameters and one diameter. So two diameters on this line, and the length is root 2a, root 2a. Now for copper, either go to the table and find the value of a directly, or 4r is equal to root 2a, find the radius, and from there you do it. So we go to the FCC table and we say that for copper a is 0.361, that is it. And now it intersects two half diameters and one full diameter. So two atomic diameters. The length is root 2a, find the length. So it is 2 upon root 2a, whatever number it comes, whatever number. So it comes out to be 3.92 atoms per nanometer. Again, converting it to millimeter to me is not necessary, because atoms per nanometer or atoms per millimeter, this type of density is not given in any standard table. So I personally would stop at 3.92 atoms per nanometer. This is it, per nanometer, because I have found the number of atomic diameters intersected by the length of this line, right? So this is the linear atomic density. So you have done 3 in a series, very important things. The normal density, which we are calling volume density, the planar density, and the linear atomic density, right? So it is at the crystal level. And again, the examples which we have done, even one of these examples, if you can do this example 100% by yourself, you can draw the cube, you can draw the area, the plane, the line, you can find the number of atoms intersected, this, that, then you are okay. You are okay, you have done it. But as I keep on telling you, that there are some examples that we solve here. In the book, there may be extra examples. Go and solve them, please. And then we have sent you homework. In the homework, there might be more examples. And I keep on reminding you that if you can do the class examples, the book examples, and the homework examples yourself, without anybody's help, yourself, 100%, then you are above average in the class already. You are above average in the class already. You are minimum C plus, you can be B minus even. And if you want to really get A minus, then at the end of every chapter in the book, there are problems. They are always given. So apart from these examples and homework problems and so on, try to do only 2, 3, 4 problems from there which you think are difficult. I keep on telling you, you do many simple easy problems, you are just doing them. But if you do 2 or 3 difficult problems, then your level of understanding is very good. So please do the class examples that we do here yourself, not read it. If in the book there are any other solved examples, hide the solution, solve them yourself. Do the homework problems yourself. Don't take the copy from some friend. If you take a copy from some friend, again try to solve it 100% yourself and then compare the answer and see if you are right. If you do it like this, then you don't need a lot of extra practice and so on. And for those of you who are top-notch people, Dean's Honor List and so on, so please from the end of the chapter exercises, select 3 or 4 or 5 problems which are really difficult and then go ahead and do them. Now a very different topic which is sort of end of the crystal theory for now. You see, we have done 2 parts of the crystal theory. First is the basics of crystal theory. There are BCC, FCC, HCP type of crystal structures. In each one of them, what is the relationship, what is the geometry, how are the atoms lying, what is root 4r is equal to root 3a and so on. And in each one of them, what is the atomic packing factor. So this was one basic part of the crystal theory, that the 3 basic types of crystal structures that are common in all the metals all over the world. How do they look? What is the geometry? What is the distribution of atoms? What is the relationship of the lattice constant to the atomic radius? One equation. And what is the atomic packing factor? So this was one side. Then the density level, which we just did. That density at the volume level, at the plane level, at the line level. So with this, we finished the basics of crystal theory. Basics of crystal theory. And now we will go to something else. But before, there is this one thing, polymorphism. Polymorphism. You understand, I always ask you to understand the meaning of the word. What is morphology? You have heard this word lots and lots of times. What is morphology? If anyone is saying that it is the science of structures, it is the knowledge of structures, it is how something is structured, yes, you are very right. Morphology means the study of the structure of something. Human morphology, studying what is the structure of the human body, human morphology. So morphology is a structure. Poly, you means many, right? Poly means many. So polymorphism by the name means something which has several structures, something which has more than one structure. In your earlier chemistry and so on, this was called allotropy. Allotropy. I don't know if you remember that word, but it was allotropy. If there is one material, but it exists in more than one structures, then it is called allotropy. What is the most famous example that you know? Yes, those of you who are saying carbon, you are very right. You see, carbon is one material. Chemically, it is carbon. Chemically, it is carbon. But carbon can be as a diamond, a totally different structure, and carbon can be graphite. You know your clutch pencil, right? So the lead in your clutch pencil, which makes it you able to write, is graphite. So just look at graphite and just look at carbon. So these are 2 totally different structures of the same material. So this is called allotropy or polymorphism. That can one material which is chemically the same, can it exist in more than one form? So here now polymorphism will be at the crystal level. At the crystal level, can one material have more than one crystal structure? The most famous example is iron. At normal temperature, iron is BCC. At a higher temperature, iron becomes FCC. And further heating of iron makes it another type of BCC. So this is remarkable that it is one material chemically, but it can exist as a BCC at room temperature, as an FCC at a higher temperature, and as BCC at even higher temperature. So here we are just showing you the temperatures, that this is the absolute temperature, but somewhere here is room temperature, iron is BCC, around 900 it becomes FCC, around 1500 it becomes BCC.